Well, I think there are two. I like the fact that you asked about two things. I think the very first thing is that Africa has to find its own money to transform itself, to create its own narrative, to develop its own societies. So in the economic governance field of things, the work I do is to look at the aspects of economics and how they tie to governance to help raise money. For example, one of the things I've been working on over the past couple of years is the whole issue around illicit financial flow. The amount of money that is going out of Africa illicitly, illegally, and how we can help African governments stop this flow. Because I believe is that if African governments can stop the tax loopholes, the tax avoidance mechanisms, they will be able to raise a lot more money to be able to effect the transformation that we've been talking about for 60 years. So that's the kind of work I engage with, and I work in sub-Saharan African countries to help government look at these issues. The other one is corruption. Corruption is a direct impact of bad leadership and government. So one of the things we're looking at is how do we make sure that we stop the different leakages, the different leakage points, so that our African government can raise money to just provide service delivery, education, health, sanitation to their people. Our regional office is in Addis-Abeba in Ethiopia, and we cover sub-Saharan African countries. We cover DRC, that's right. DRC is just an example, but I can cite you 20 DRCs across Africa. Maybe not as bad as DRC, but Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon. If it's not an issue related to pillaging of natural resources, it's something related to just bad governance, to shrinking of space that people cannot express themselves, to governance that doesn't reflect good economic models to change their societies. So the problem is not to look at the solution for DRC, it's to look at the solution that works for many African countries, depending on what stage in their development trajectory they find themselves. And that's what we're trying to do. So we are not indexing DRC, but we are saying, perhaps if we find a solution to help DRC manage its natural resource properly, many other countries can learn from that. Perhaps if we put in place a better governance system in DRC, a governance system that is participatory, that is transparent, that curbs corruption, many other countries in the sub-region can learn from that. So the solution is not a DRC solution, it's a solution that cuts across problem, because one of the challenges we are facing now, including in northern DRC, is radicalization, is terrorism. So even if you solve the M23 issues in DRC and Uganda, you're still going to have radicals coming from northern Nigeria and northern Niger. So it's a cross-border approach that we need to take. One of the biggest things halting growth in DRC is corruption. Corruption is one of the biggest development challenges in DRC and in Africa. If you look at the amount of money that leaves DRC to foreign accounts, but also the amount of money that doesn't get into the state treasury a year in DRC, more than $30 million in a month.
30.
But if you think about how much, 30, you think about how much is needed to send every child in DRC to school, it's less than, I said more than 50, but how many child to school is less than 30 million they need. So if you just stop the leakage, then DRC would be able to provide free education for every child in the Congo, as big as the Congo is. It could go extremely fast, but you see, all of these things are tied to leadership.